Good evening, welcome to the Mancunian way. Hello, hope you are all well. Manchester City pull off another victory. I'm going to bring Rich in, and then I'm going to have my little say. Evening, mate.
Evening, how are you?
Honestly, a bit peeved off.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if you're peeved off for the same reason I am.
No, probably not. I'm a bit peeved off with, before I get into some of those, I did tell Rich this was coming. So Rich knows this was coming. I just want 2 minutes of everyone's time. Don't have to agree with me. Don't have to whatever. And this isn't aimed at anyone in particular. This is just what I've heard and listened to, both in the ground and out the ground and across social media. When did we become the fan base of Liverpool? Just when? And I'll tell you what I mean by that.
Yeah,
I've never heard.
I think we've become like United fans. I don't think anyone is like that.
All right, United or Liverpool.
No one's like Liverpool fans.
When did we start having a meltdown at 0-0 at half time?
When the team
are we at a stage where if we ain't 3-4-5 up, it's oh my God, let's have a meltdown? Is this where we're at? Is this really where we're going into now? Are we at a stage where we have to crucify players? We have to call players out, which is fine, but just for me at the minute, we're calling players out because it's the in thing to do, and other players are getting a free pass because of their name. I mean, I'll get onto the man of the match in a bit, but I think that is the biggest joke walking on the face of this planet. I'm sorry. I think that is just... I just don't get it. I'm a little bit peeved at maybe it's me. Maybe I'm too much of a dinosaur to... Now, maybe my time as a fan needs to go off social media and be quiet. Yeah. And you know, I didn't
see who got man of the match.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, see, the man of the match should have been a Dortmund player. So
yeah, do you know what I mean? But he was nowhere near the best City player, Rich. No. Nowhere near it. I thought he was bang average tonight. Bang average. And that's not calling KDB out. I think he's the best player we've got alongside Haaland, but I'm sorry. I just saw a meltdown at 0-0, and I thought we were 3-0 down, and it really pissed me off.
Joe, nothing in that. I mean, I have to say, it was one of the most boring 1 hours of my life, and I was actually...
By the way, good evening to everyone. I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Sure. I'm sorry.
I was sitting there, and I sent a message to a couple of mates and my brother and said, I really hope Dortmund score because I'm so bored, and the only thing that's going to possibly make this game interesting is Dortmund scoring, and they kind of deserved it. And if I was giving a man of the match, I'd have given it to, Dortmund who played really well. They just completely shut us down. But to be honest with you, an hour before kickoff, when the team was mentioned, it was fairly obvious it was going to be like that. Every time we play badly, we have the discussion afterwards about how we should never play Rodri, De Bruyne and Gundogan in midfield. And then we play Rodri, Gundogan and, De Bruyne in midfield, and we were... we played exactly like we always do. And to compound it, we decided to play Grealish and Mahrez, who are, not in the best of form, and they're not our most, dynamic, pacey players. So it really was tedium. And so there was no meltdowns about us playing bad. I kind of thought we're probably going to win this, but I thought there's a danger of 0-0 if Dortmund don't score first and actually give us a kick up the arse we need. But, I put it down to the fact we're playing at 12 o'clock or at 12:30 on Saturday. Pep probably felt he couldn't play all the players he couldn't give Bernardo 90 minutes and Alvarez 90 minutes, and all those players.
It's as though we're not playing every 3 days. I mean, Ryan, I'm not going to call you out.
2.5 days at the moment.
Ryan, this is not me calling you out, mate. I'm not. But you just put it, we've not made a chance in 30M, and no wonder having a meltdown. Are we at that stage where we have to have had... I mean, here's one for you. Someone's asked me about Grealish. And I'm going to get into the Grealish, Mahrez, Gundogan situation in a minute. Because I agree with 90% of it. I do. I absolutely do. But here's my issue. For me, in the first half, the only one who was actually trying to get us going, trying to unlock a low block Dortmund, was Grealish. He was the only one trying to force something. Now, that's... but then it was, he's awful, he's this, that, and the other. I don't... Do you know what? I'm at a stage where, yes, we need to sell him for his own sanity. Because I'm sorry, Rich, the fans are just never going to accept Grealish. The price tag, everything about him, they're just never going to accept him. They're just not. The guy could score an hat-trick, score overhead kicks and everything else, and people will still have something to...
That's why I think you're wrong. I think if he gets a few goals and a few assists, he plays in a few good performances, that'll change. I mean, fans are the most fickle things on the planet. I've seen people who wanted Tevez shot and then he comes back and does a golf swing celebration and they love him again. I mean, so I think Grealish can win fans round. Whether he will, he's got to have the game. But to single him out would be grossly unfair because
he was massively singled.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but it was all of them. Gundogan wasn't himself. De Bruyne wasn't himself. Rodri was Rodri didn't. Was just passing it around like he normally does, I guess. But there was just no urgency. And Haaland, I'm not sure he touched the ball in the first half. Can't really remember, but he was not getting any service. And it was just dull. But it started from the back. I don't think that, I think as a defensive player, I can really see the benefit of him. But Ake slows our defense getting the ball out down. So, and Cancelo was one of the quietest games I've seen him have. I mean, he did do his Luka Modric moment, at the end of the game, but he was pretty slow. Yeah, it was just generally just lethargic. Even Edison was a bit passive.
Christian, thank you. So glad you could get to join us live, mate. Hope you're well. Don't blame. Listen, I'm not saying Grealish is a world superstar. I'm not. He has a lot to work on. But what I saw tonight from him in the first half, I genuinely do think he was trying to get us going. He come in, he had a couple of shots blocked. He was trying. Now, Mahrez, yes, you've got a case to say about Mahrez. By the way, yes, we've won. I've just had my little rant because what's worrying me, Ryan, it seems like I'm picking on you. I'm not, mate. And I'd love you one day to come on here and tell me all about this. Maybe, like I said at the start, maybe I'm the old dinosaur and need to move out. I don't know. But I thought the whole team, like you said, Rich, was lethargic. I thought we were half asleep. Also, I thought Dortmund were very good at what they did.
They were organised.
They were very clever at what they did.
Yeah. They they in the first half, certainly they shut off any supply to Haaland at source really well. And they also didn't leave Haaland, he had two people policing him, and when one went to close down the ball or something, the other one stuck with him. So they actually policed him pretty well. But unfortunately, he can get his feet 15 feet in the air and, score, ridiculous goals. So even when he's completely shut down, it's impossible. If you get a good ball in, he's going to get there. So I think it was the team sheet, to be honest. I think, at first I thought Pep was trolling me, taking it personally, like how he's gone and knowing full well that most of us would start any game at the moment with Alvarez, Bernardo, and Foden. He's left them all out. So, you know, and if you're leaving them out, you should have given Phillips a game because he's got the urgency. But we've gone and done that 3 slow, lethargic midfield players thing, which I was complaining about a week ago. And I think I was complaining about it 2 weeks ago. So done that again to bowlers. And then, you know, we show absolutely no urgency till we get a goal, till they get a goal. Chuck on, you know, 3 of those lads, and immediately, you know, we start to show urgency. We start to show a bit more aggression, and we win the game. And in a way, when the subs came on, I thought we're going to win this game. And that's probably a sad indictment of football, in that, you know, you're playing the best team in your Champions League group. You give them a goal start, you play terribly, and even with 20 minutes to go, you're still thinking we're going to win this, and then you do win it. So,
you know what? Do you know what? Listen, I'm just not. I understand about calling players out, but I'm with you. Blame Pep tonight on some of that.
Yeah,
blame Pep.
But you know, the truth is, if we beat Wolves on the weekend at 12 o'clock kickoff, Bernardo, Foden, and Alvarez start, then Pep's got it right, and that's the
whole
thing.
Point is, Rich, are we at a stage as a fan base where we're going to have meltdowns at 0-0?
Yeah.
Is this where we're at now?
We've been like that for a couple of years, Martin. I hate to tell you.
No, maybe I missed it. I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
But we've certainly been like that, you know, on social media, on Twitter, on channels where people are watching the game and commenting. Yeah,
right. But Alan's put here wrong team. Right, I've got a question for everyone in the comments. We know we're in a period, especially this season, where we're every 3 days. Pep said at the start he wanted a small squad. Pep said he wanted a small squad and he wanted everyone to rotate. Yeah, which we saw tonight with Stones at right back. My point is here. The fans expect us to go with our best 11 week in, week out and burn these players out? At what point does Mahrez and Grealish and everyone else, when did they get games? Carabao Cup?
Yeah, but Martin, I think for me the problem tonight wasn't any of those individuals playing. It was the fact that we went with basically the 5 midfielders.
Slowest midfield going.
We played 5. You could have swapped Grealish for Alvarez and that team would have been different. You could have swapped Gundogan for Bernardo. You could have still played 4 of those 5 players the same. One player being different would have made a difference to that team. And he, you know, for whatever reason, he decided to play a slow, controlled game. Now, the reality is we won it. There's no, you know, goal difference isn't going to count in the group stage.
Exactly.
You know, we won the game, and that now means he's got an absolutely free hit on who to start on Saturday. He can start whoever he wants because none of the players, even the ones who started, you know, have been particularly, you know, exhausted by it. So, you know, you can't knock it. Had we lost, you can knock it was the wrong team, but it wasn't entertainment for most of it.
But the point is, Rich, we're not going to have a Notts Forest performance week in, week out.
No, but we can. But you know, I talked about this at length when we did the show when we thought the Spurs game was going to happen, and it was like if you start Gundogan and De Bruyne in midfield, you've got to start Phillips. If you start Rodri, then you've got to leave either Gundogan or De Bruyne out and play Bernardo, and so you can still rotate the team. You know, he could have started Phillips tonight and gone with De Bruyne and Gundogan. He could have started Alvarez. Alvarez could have played today and Saturday. He's had a week and a half off, so he could have still played some of those players, but given us a bit more urgency.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's what bugs me tonight. I think you can blame players. Yes, I still think. Listen, and I know he is Marmite. Grealish is Marmite. You're gonna love him or you're gonna hate him. And maybe that's a hill I'm going to die on with Grealish. Maybe it will. And maybe I'll die on it with a lot of pride. And it's the wrong hill to die on. Maybe it is. But when I see a guy trying his bollocks off for one half, trying to get us a goal, trying to get us going, and then gets all the crap at half time, I'm like, he's just not going to be accepted no matter what he does. Yeah. And my whole point is, I keep saying this, I said this weeks ago, months ago even, Cancelo and him don't work. Yeah. Because what does Cancelo want to do? The exact same bloody thing that Grealish is trying to do. So Grealish is stood there at one point, and Vater's just coming on in a minute as well. Cancelo's running by him, and Grealish is going, where the bleeding hell are you going? That's my job. And Grealish is now like, what does he do?
Honestly, I think Cancelo would be better, better on the side with Mahrez, because Mahrez isn't going running miles to look for the ball or playing with quite that intensity, so could probably combine with him quite well. But it's the story. It's that free midfield. It's lethargic. It always is. It always will be. And Pep knows it. But maybe a 60-hour turnaround or whatever it is for the next game. Maybe it's a masterstroke, and now we're going to be able to go 120% at Wolves.
And like I said, people don't have to agree with me. I'm upset because there was a meltdown at halftime at 0-0, and I'm sat there going, "What the frick? We're 0-0, and I'm sorry, we became Liverpool and United fans at halftime, and it upset me. It genuinely did upset me. I'm sorry, it upset me. And like I said, maybe I'm the dinosaur who needs to be put out back and shot. Start calling me Old Yellow. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But I just, if 0-0 at half-time we're having a meltdown, Jesus Christ. Give me strength.
I mean, to be honest, I'm gobsmacked that anyone was melting down, because I was dozing off in the first half and I had a little nap at half-time.
Yeah, you shouldn't be having a meltdown at half-time. You should have been having a kip. But it was Pep's fault. The team you picked, not the bloody players.
Yeah, I mean, I've recorded and kept the first half, because if I have problems with sleep, I'm going to watch that instead of, taking something to go to sleep, because I think it's perfect. So, it's going to save me money in the future. But I wasn't feeling emotional enough for a meltdown. I was just...
It's what more than what anyone else did on the pitch, Ryan. That's my point. Anyway, you're coming in the middle of my rant. I don't know if you've heard any of it. Good afternoon. I hope you're all right. Let me start. Team sheet. Was you having a meltdown with everyone else?
So I wasn't having a meltdown, because the one thing that I try my best to do is I look at how the other team's playing against us. And that's what many fans, I think, sometimes overlook. Like, we have to give credit to how we were being defended. Yeah, we could have criticism on the 11 that we had and how we were attacking, but we can also look at what we were trying to do and what they were preventing us from doing. I'm not a huge stat guy, but when I think of what's happening and I use my eye test at the moment, I'm like, we didn't test the keeper. That's the thing that kind of gets me the most. I'm like, let's test the keeper. Let's put some shots on net. Let's pose some threats. And so when that wasn't happening, I'm like, you know what? Perhaps going to lay into them at halftime. I don't have to go in the spaces and talk crazy. Oh, is there an echo? Oh, hold on. You still have an echo, or are we good?
I don't.
I'm muted now. There's an echo going on or something. Can I just say, listen,
how about now?
Pardo Oaks put what shots really had no input. He had 2 block shots first half. Name me anybody else who had a shot in the first half, Pardo. That's my whole point. He was the only one trying to get anything away. Nobody else was doing anything. There was nobody else, Pardo. Listen, I understand what you're saying and I respect it, but he was the only one. People are popping at Grealish going, well, that's all he did. That's more than what anybody else did in the first half. Mahrez was shocking. as he has been for weeks. Gundogan was off the boil. KDB, how he got man of the match, I do not know. Someone needs to teach me that one because I don't get it. I love KDB, but nobody gets a pass in my books. Nobody.
Yeah, I've thought about it, Martin. I'd have given man of the match to Pep, for trolling us all with that team.
Winding me up.
But I have to say, getting a yellow card and then giving the referee a hug and then getting back into an argument with him was the best entertainment of the whole game. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Listen, I just think, hey, Alan, you got man of the match, mate. You got man of the match. Listen, I just think, I think tonight, from my point of view, that was always going to, these were our toughest opponents in this group. When you look at Copenhagen and you look at Seville, these were the toughest groups, the toughest opponents. Now, to me, I thought they had their tactics spot on. Yes, we didn't choose the best team, but as Rich said, I still think he had Saturday in mind. He sat there at a 12:30 kickoff in 2.5 days, roughly. What's he supposed to do? He's got to. Mahrez has not played for a couple of weeks now. I'd have been surprised if Mahrez hadn't played. Alvarez, if people are frustrated over Alvarez, I get that. And I don't agree with Pep's philosophy on this, but Pep's philosophy is quite clearly, this lad has had no break. He has come from playing non-stop football in Argentina, come here, and he's not going to be playing every week. He's letting him adapt. So, I mean, the substitutions, let's be honest, thought Bernardo and Foden made a difference. Saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially Bernardo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they brought intensity. I mean, you could see, it was only about 49 minutes and you had, who was it? It was Phillips, Bernardo, Alvarez, and Foden all warming up. And you thought, well, there's 4 players who all play, probably the most intense, energetic 4 players we got, and they're all warming up. So you knew that was coming even before they got the goal. And then, that goal was what the game needed. I suspect I wasn't the only City fan who actually tried to, almost was wanting Dortmund to score because that's what the game needed.
I do think, like you said, I think the Dortmund goal woke us up.
Yeah.
I mean, but saying that, Rich, how many times have we said that?
Yeah. And then I must admit, there was some comedy in the game as well. I mean, their goalkeeper's effort to save John Stones' shot. I mean, he went like that.
I was right behind that.
The ball was there. Like, I'm not kidding. I would have been absolutely gutted if I'd have let that in. And I'm about 4 inches shorter, 30 years older, and can't play in goal. But I think I'd have been disappointed if I hadn't at least got a hand to it. I don't know what happened, whether he, someone fired a laser in his eye or,
that's not the funniest thing for me, Rich. You know what the funniest thing for me tonight was? Can someone get Sewell a proper top? My God, that was 5 sizes, way too big for him. I thought he looked like he just won a competition at the back and played alongside Hummels. He looked like someone out the crowd. I was like, that isn't Sewell. Seriously not. His shirt was out here on him. Yeah. There was a wind, he took off.
I'll tell you one thing, though. We do have to, sign up little Jude next summer. I mean, he's a good player. He was
the man of the match.
Yeah, definitely. And I
he was man of the match.
Yeah, and if there is a player in European footballer who's made to come in when Bernardo decides to go, then it's him. And I love the fact that he was being marked for his goal. He was being marked by Haaland and Akanji. He was kind of with both of them. They're both about a foot taller than him, and I just think that was just beautiful. He managed to dodge between 2 people a foot taller than him and get a headed goal.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought Bellingham's little antics when he went down with the fake cramp I thought, yeah, that was right in front of me. So I was like, ooh. And then what you might not have saw on camera, you might not have shown this on TV, as Bellingham got up from his little cramp off the corner, he walked past the stand and he went, giving it all out to the City fans, and smiling, which was quite. But listen, anyone who's got any doubts about that lad, and Pep's praised him afterwards, saying he's amazing. Listen, we have got to be in for it.
I see a comment criticising him for what he did to Foden and his little strop at the end. But actually, we need a bit of that. We need a bit of
You like a bit of shithousery, don't you?
Well, you need it. I think Fernandinho, one of his greatest things for us was his ability at the tactical foul and his shithousery. And I think you do need a bit of that in the team. You can't just have 11 nice players. And sometimes I think we aren't quite as good as some of our opponents at that kind of thing. So Grealish brings a bit of that. A few of the others do, but I think Bellingham, I think he's made for City.
Yeah.
I've
got to put this up because Alan's moaning. My comedy was Martin giving me shit on WhatsApp. Rich, can you tell everyone about Alan's WhatsApp messages and what they're like during games?
Well, normally, unless you're 10-0 up,
he's a moaning little bitch.
I mean, I'm not going to call Alan out here, but a few years ago,
I will.
He made a bet with me that City was so bad we weren't going to get in the Champions League in Pep's first season, and he never
Alan
paid.
Is a pessimistic bloke.
And then he made, and in the time I've known Alan, we've had at least 10 times the worst player in world football playing for us. I daren't mention how bad he thought Nicolas Otamendi was, even though he was our best defender and probably one of the best defenders in the Premier League in his first season, and had just been the best defender in Spain and was the best defender in the World Cup. But that's Alan. And yet, amazingly, he couldn't see how Boris Johnson wasn't very good. So, he has his blind spots.
Hey, Alan, that's not me. That's Rich calling you out on that one, mate. I'm echoing. Rich, this is when you come on. You've got me on somewhere.
I haven't.
Have you got me on mute? Right, look, the echo's gone now. It's bloody Rich, naughty Rich.
I've only got you on one thing, so it must just be this laptop.
You naughty boy. Oh, I'll tell you what it could be. Have you got noise cancellation on? I'll show you after the stream. There's a noise cancellation you need to put on. It's my fault setting it up. Alan's come back to you. Do me a favour, Rich. Otamendi was shit. Right. Let's get on to Manchester City then. John Stones, cometh the man, cometh the hour. Did he just have a little bit of Vincent Kompany?
Yeah, except Vincent Kompany's was unstoppable. John Stones was a great, good shot, but how the goalie let it in.
I know the goalie's.
That goalie's going to watch that, and they're going to be just taking the piss out of him in the Dortmund changing room because his arms went up like a T-Rex, and the ball was only about an inch. Honestly, his arm, when he's fully extended, is about like that, and the ball's about where that City badge is. It was. I don't know, maybe if I saw it from a different angle, it went up or it dipped or something weird happened with the ball. But the replays I saw, it was inexplicable that a ball can go in about a foot below the bar in the middle of the net, right next to the goalkeeper.
And then obviously cometh the hour, cometh the man. He'd done jack shit all game. This is what 51 million quid gets you.
Yeah.
Quiet as a mouse all game.
Cancelo had done jack all game, and he produced his outside of the foot Modric ball. Haaland produced his Karate Kid finish, and
Cancelo decided to put a ball in like Kevin De Bruyne. And the next minute, Haaland's just like, as Pep said tonight, done his inner Johan Cruyff and kung fu kicked it into the net. And out of respect, he didn't celebrate either. He didn't celebrate. And City have obviously gone on and won the game 2-1. See, I always remember the old thing of play shit but win makes you a top team.
Well, we are a top team. I mean, we have been a top team for years, and that's the reality of it. And we are starting, I think we're starting quite slowly. We've played a couple of halves of football this season where we've been really intense and brilliant, but we are starting quite slowly, and which probably is absolutely necessary with the length of the season. You can't go out too hard. But yeah, it was I do hope Calvin Phillips gets a start on Saturday as well, because I think we've got a World Cup coming up. He's a top player and he needs to get a game.
But listen, I do think the dream of Foden, Alvarez, and Haaland will come. But I think me and Rich, we were the two. I think we said it, didn't we, a couple of weeks back? It'll come when it comes. Because when it comes, it won't be taken out then. It will become unstoppable. But Ares has just signed a new contract, so he's going to be given a chance. Grealish is just, like I said, Grealish is my mate. You love him or you hate him. I don't think
we're really going to hit our straps before the World Cup.
No. Honestly,
I think we're going to, I think we'll try and get through, without injuries, getting the results till the World Cup, and then they'll properly start going for it after the World Cup.
We're just going to bring Vader in a minute. It was just the next thing. I know Rich has to shoot in 3 minutes, so we'll get Vader more involved in 3 minutes when Rich drops off to go and start his working day. The thing is, I think we just have to remember it is players. This is a long season. With the games are going to come thick and fast. We've just had another game cancelled with Arsenal. So
what was that about? Why did we allow that to happen? Why didn't we tell Arsenal to get
because Arsenal? It was the only way PSV game was going to go in.
Why should we let our season be screwed by Arsenal?
Rich, actually, and I'm going to talk about this more on the Daily News at 10 in the morning. You're jumping me gun here, Rich. It actually helps us because if you look, we've got Liverpool and then Arsenal, I think it was. You didn't want Liverpool and Arsenal one after each other. So it actually kind of does us a favour, but it probably does mean we're going to have to go Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday at some point in the season.
Or we're going to have the funniest game in history when we play Chelsea and both sides desperately want to lose in the Carabao Cup.
Well, someone said that.
Yeah.
We're going to get the Carabao Cup.
Oh, my
We're going to play the under-16s. Was it you said that, Rich?
Yeah, I said that. But I said the trouble is we'll play the under-16s and Chelsea will probably play the under-15s because they won't want to go through either. And then we'll be trying to score own goals to go out. Well, I guess you can play we can play the under-23s and just let them play at their best and then just play them in the next round. We give them the experience. I mean, give it a go. But
I'm just going to let Rich have final say later and then we'll get you in,
mate,
because I know Rich wants to jump. Rich, 6 out of 6. Of all the bitching in the morning we've all done, we've still got 6 out of 6, 2 wins out of 2.
I mean,
on to Copenhagen next of 2 games. Is that the Group 1? If we beat Copenhagen twice?
If we beat Copenhagen twice, that's the Group 1. I mean, to be honest with you, if we get a win and a draw against Copenhagen, that's probably the Group 1, in all honesty. I mean, we can, I hope we get it won and then we can play and actually do what Pep never does and actually play a full strength weak team, as in no first team players, and just give everyone a go. You can't really complain. I mean, we all know the Champions League group stage is just dull as dishwater. We all know that when City start midfield without, Bernardo and probably without Phillips, that it's going to be slow. That's the way Dortmund are playing. I think Ryan made that point. So we're not going to have Dortmund going at us hell for leather and creating the interest for their end. So overall, I think it was fairly inevitable. So, you know, we get the points. And Alan, that's not a cuddly toy; it's a driver cover. You should recognise that. And we got the points, and on to Saturday. And you know, I'm far more interested in the Premier League, so at least now we know that we can play whoever we want on Saturday.
Well, Colonel Ward's our resident Arsenal fan, our resident gunner, but he has been a long supporter of me, especially, and I do appreciate that, Colonel Ward. So, yeah, he wanted us just to forfeit the game. No, that won't be happening, mate. Rich, anything else you want to say before you shoot and start your working day, mate?
No, I think, you know, it's 3 points, and, you know, the first hour of the game's an hour I won't get back, but, you know, c'est la vie. I did get a nice little bit of kip at halftime, so that probably made me feel a bit better for the rest of the day.
You know what, Vader? He's not happy when we're winning 5-0. He's not happy when we're 0-0. He's just never bleeding happy, Rich. He's never happy.
Proper City fan.
You know what he says? I love it when it's close and 0-0 and other teams are trying to work us out. And then when we're 5-0 up, bloody boring this. It's too predictable. You can't win.
No pleasing this guy, huh?
I want a 0-0 game where both sides are threatening to score. I mean, do you know, you two are probably too young for this, but there was a game in the 1982 World Cup. I'm pretty sure
I was only just born then. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure it was Austria against Germany. And in those days, basically, the games weren't all played at the same time in the World Cup in the last game. So you could actually, you know a certain result might get at you. And both teams knew that a draw would get them through to the next round of the World Cup. And what ensued was the most boring game where neither team had a shot on goal the entire game. And that was City Dortmund for the first hour. So, you know, I'll probably look back on it fondly as just, you know, footballing shithousery just to wind up the fans.
Well, Rich, thank you for joining us. By the way, have a lovely birthday for your daughter, mate. And
happy birthday.
And also, Rich will be back tomorrow at 9:30. Are we live, Rich, tomorrow?
Yeah, 9:30, yeah.
Where we will talk. I mean, we're not leaving, me and Beta are staying, but we're going to talk a little bit about the North and South ridiculous idea. But we'll talk about that more tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's going to be watch.
My only thoughts on that, you know, is
it's for tomorrow, Rich. It's for tomorrow. No, save it.
He's not. He wants to go with it. You can tell. He's like gasping.
That'll tomorrow. Bye.
See you later, mate.
Oh, too funny.
Right, they are. Thank you for staying with us, mate. Come on, then. I'm not sure if you heard my rant. Am I moaning too much? Am I an old dinosaur?
I heard bits and pieces of it, and to be honest with you, I think many people that were losing their minds at halftime would come around and say, I was out of line, I was extreme, I didn't need to take it that far, I'm freaking out for unnecessarily. I think a lot would come back and realize that they were wilding out. You're not a dinosaur in that perspective, but there's what's grown, in my opinion, what's grown is the emotional reactionary moments that fans are having now. I think many feel that they have to point out everything that's wrong, right? And it's sometimes not in sight of it's a match. This is still football.
Is that not society now, though?
It is.
I mean, I've talked about this on your stream before. I think, are we just, after everything, especially in the last 2 years, are we just moaning bastards? Excuse my language, but is that what we are now?
Yeah, I think everything is too instant. It's too instant with how reactions are made, conclusions are made, because the thing that, and this is funny, the thing that we can do as fans is, and I kind of talked about this earlier, but we just look at what we're dealing with. We just look at our own world. We just look at what we're having to cope with, and not really take into account what's happening on the other side of the pitch, what the defenders are doing, what the coach's strategy and tactics may be. Like, I'll be first to admit, I didn't like the 11. because I thought that having Mahrez and Grealish, they both create the same thing on opposite sides of the pitch. It's not like there's not like a difference approach in terms of how the team would have to cope with either of them. So, that'll bother me, but to and I think I'm fighting off a sneeze here. To fight off to then look at the players and not think that they're going to play themselves out of it is where I'm like, "Come on, guys, let's relax a little bit. Let's see what Peps does." All I can say is if we're gonna forget the stress that we felt being 1-0 down against Villa in the last game of the season, if we're gonna forget that, if we're gonna forget how and it came out recently, if we're gonna forget how Pep talked to them at halftime, if we're gonna forget how the players responded and the subs came on the pitch and caused instant reaction and caused a change. If we're gonna forget that, feel free to have your meltdowns. But I'm not going to join you in the meltdowns because I'm not going to forget that. I know that there's still a second half to be played. Being
And
down
that's all I
3-0,
said.
yeah. Being down
I
3-0,
think
meltdown.
if we were down at half time, then yeah, I get it a bit more. We were 0-0.
Mm. Yeah. No, you're right.
We were 0-0. And it was like, and I think I said it on one of the spaces. I'm like, are we 3-0 down? I missed 3 goals. I mean, I know it was a ball fest, but I mean, did I miss 3 goals somewhere? And the thing was everyone knew the changes were going to be made. He was always going to bring on Bernardo and Foden and Alves. Pep's not that stupid. Pep probably known what was going to happen. And the thing is, it was just, to me, I look upon it of, we managed to get minutes in. I understand everyone's opinion on Grealish. It's a hill I'm going to die on. Said this over and over. I'm going to die on it. Will I eventually give up on him? Maybe I will. But for now, I don't think him and Cancelo go together. Never have done. Think Cancelo is too much of an offensive player to play him behind Grealish because he's never bloody behind Grealish. He's either next to him, in front of him. And Grealish 9 times out of 10 is going, where are you going? Because Grealish doesn't know what to do now because Cancelo's doing half his job. So he doesn't know what to do. He's just stuck. So you either move Grealish. My more concern was with Mahrez and was with Gundogan and the slow midfield we ended up with tonight. Because I thought the midfield was slow. But it always is when we play that arrangement of players normally. When you play Kevin, you play Rodri, and you play Gundogan, you've no pace. You've no explosiveness anywhere there.
There's no one running through the channels trying to control the defense and trying to actually get like a ball played through. There's absolutely no. You actually see, and it is frustrating to watch. You'll see, sometimes you often see Gundogan up with the defensive line, and he's not looking to get behind. He's actually just coasting to run with them, almost like the instructions are, let's get to the 18-yard box, and now let's figure it out, as opposed to let's try to break on them before we even get there. That I agree was frustrating. The thing that I heard some fans say, because obviously there's the anxiety, there's the pressure with regards to the Champions League, right? So this is where I kind of give them a little bit of a, I understand. I don't agree, but I understand. The stress that they have with regards to the Champions League, and I know this is group stages, but they want everything to look controlling, look like City's superior, City's in control, City is going to make easy work of these rounds. That's not quite the approach that a manager is going to take, because again, do we put our best 11 on the pitch every single match? No, we can't do that. We know we
Not
can't.
when you've got a game in 2.5 days.
Exactly. And
where the early kickoff Saturday,
which is another
half
thing,
12.
playing on Wednesday and playing it Saturday. But I understand the circumstances on it. But Pep has to also show trust to, quote unquote, the not best 11. They have to play. They have to play through these difficult times. They have to play with the instructions that he's giving them. Like, sometimes fans need to just look at it from from a sports standpoint. See what has to be done so that these guys are ready at the end in May.
I always look upon it as, if you go back 3-4 years, the way we start, if you look, we basically plod along in third gear till about January, February. We basically plod till January, maybe about February, when everyone else has literally been going in fourth and fifth gear to get themselves going and everything else.
Yeah.
And then they burn out about February. And then what City do is come February, fourth gear, fifth gear, bang, see ya. And then we leave everyone else behind because we've managed the squad correctly. We've managed the squad. We've managed injuries. We do what we need to do. We always put the afterburners on February time and we go when everybody else is burnt out. There is a World Cup. We are playing every 3 and 4 days. It is just, and tonight, let's be honest, the crowd was flat, completely flat. Credit to the Dortmund fans. They made an atmosphere tonight because City fans made no atmosphere tonight. So, simple fact of, I look upon it of just one of them nights. We got the points. It wasn't a great team effort. Do you know what? But we still.
Exactly.
And we move on to Wolves.
It was a result that we needed, similar to, because again, if we want to easily just look at the games being played yesterday, Liverpool being able to get those 3 points, I would argue that they didn't play to have earned those 3, but they got the 3. Now, we played our style of football. We attacked. It didn't look the best in the first half, but the second half, we did what we needed to do. We got the 3 points. That's all that really matters within these group stages. And I think you may have mentioned it with Rich. We get the 2 wins. We get the 2 wins against our next opponent within these group stages, and then we can maybe focus more on the league and how we're going to properly manage the squad. But job done. Freak out, stressing, losing your minds, meltdowns. Let's look back and just calm down because we know players and managers are going to respond.
Do you know the funny thing is? We all knew we had this small squad. I mean, Muddy Duck has talked about it. Me and Muddy Duck talked about it for 4 or 5 weeks now on here of how small our squad is.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be in a stage where we're giving up on players or saying that never play him again or he's not good enough. And do you know what? We're going to need him. So right now, just get behind him because there's nothing we can do up to now to January.
Yeah.
It's a World Cup year. We're playing every 3 or 4 days. I just think we've just got to get behind. You will see silly things like Stones at right back. You will see things that you thought you'd never see. But it's probably a means to an end. But my whole point of this is I don't expect us to go undefeated this year. Never have. We're going to lose.
That's not an expectation. Exactly. All I want is for the players to play sound City football. That's all I can ask for. And again, when Pep puts on players that we don't quote think are key starters or in good form, he has to play them in. He has to provide rotation. He has to see whether these players can actually work their way into good form. It's a long damn season. And the short-sightedness in terms of not playing them is going to bite us because not only will they be needed at the end of the season, but also if we want to look even further ahead, we know that what they're building in terms of experience and some of the mistakes that they're making. Oh my gosh. And some of the mistakes that they're making.
As I said, you could tell
Colonel Ward's later.
You can tell he's a gunner. But tell you what, these Gunner fans, they're dining out on that forever, aren't they? They're just not giving it up.
It's special. I understand why, but they're quick to throw it out.
Who was your man of the match tonight? Because I've already said I thought man of the match was Bellingham. I thought the guy ran the show in their midfield. I thought he ran midfield, if I'm honest.
I was really critical of him. I'll tell you the truth because again, we know there's so many speculations and so many people touting and he's going to be the big key target player next transfer window. But yeah, I was watching him critically, and he stepped up for the big match, and it's twice now. When I watched him, what was it, 2 years ago when we played against him, um, he had a big moment too. I think Holland assisted a goal to him. So, I like what I see. I like his endurance. I like the fact that he covered so much of the pitch. Um, Man of the match, the fact that KDB did that is magical. I don't know what he's a magician. I don't know who he
I think he's paid
hypnotized.
someone at BT or UEFA to do that. I don't know how that's even happened.
I don't know how he's done it, but
Some
yeah,
have said Stones, some have said Cancelo, some have said.
you know what? I
I'm
wouldn't be
struggling
mad.
for a City one. I'm
Yeah,
struggling for a City one.
I get it with regards to Cancelo entire game, what he contributed in terms of that scoring effort. Stones. The funny thing is with Stones, and again, when I first saw that lineup, I I did not predict, I did not think that Stones was gonna be right back. When I saw that lineup, I was like, "Okay, Cancelo right and Ake left." But I like it it didn't even compute that Stones was gonna play right back,
I did
especially
guess
coming off
that. We were
injury.
talking about it in the car going
Mm.
down. Me and my nephews and my lad and we sat there and we're going, who's gonna, what's he doing here? And everyone was going, oh, Aki's going left back, and I went, he's gonna put Stones right back. Because I remember him saying it. I remember Pep 3 or 4 weeks ago saying Stones could play right back
Yeah,
in a bit of a, you know,
yeah.
listen, we all know Pep. He likes to experiment even in games. We always said it. He's this mad scientist, and you don't know whether you get the Frankenstein or whether you get the creator. You just don't. The creator of the monster. You don't know who you get. There's a fine balance between genius and madness, and Pep just hovers on that line of which way he's going to go. Whichever way the
Yeah.
wind blows is where he goes. And you know what? I mean, I personally thought people saying Akanji was great. Thought Akanji looked shaky for a part of the game today.
You know
Thought he
what?
looked a little off.
I
But
thought Go ahead, go ahead. I thought his coverage was good. I thought there was at times where he was trying to make too much of a Hollywood pass and it put us in dangerous spots. And defenders are going to have moments like these. Defenders because they're constantly under pressure and being attacked, they're going to have moments. I honestly, in terms of I'm going to lay blame at someone's feet for the goal, Jude going across him is uncalled for. Like that, or sorry, not across him, but the fact that you had him, Jude, and then you had Holland. I was like, okay, that's your responsibility first. You're closest to the ball. The ball comes to you first, and you're the defender. Holland is a forward. He's a striker. So, but
that's not me
it's my
saying
only
Akanji
thing.
was bad.
No,
I just
no,
thought
he
there
wasn't.
was,
Yeah,
me, I call, I'm honest. And I think, just because I think you can criticize without saying they're awful. I think,
yeah,
Pep, all managers do it. Trust me
yeah,
now, Pep will get him in tonight and we'll give him all a bollocking for some of that tonight. He's not stupid. Of course he
yeah,
will. He'll be like, great 2-1. But everyone sees the game different. Look at Pep. We all thought Foden on a cracker against Seville, and Pep was saying he was crap. So you're like, what? Okay, mind blows. Where'd you go from
yeah,
here? I think it's a long season. It's a great win. 2 wins out of 2. We move on to Wolves on Saturday. And I just think, listen, just relax, calm down.
yeah,
If we're not gonna dominate every game. We're not gonna play like prime Barcelona week in, week out. Just relax. I know
yeah.
we're one of the best teams in the world, but the human beings, they're not 11 computerized digital men roaming around. Raheem Sterling is a world beater on FIFA. He not that great for City last year. So come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss him
Come
for
on.
my FIFA game this year. I'm not gonna lie, but what I find funny too is the demand that a lot of fans are making. Like, you need to play so and so. I want to see so and so on the pitch. Like, there's things that Pep and the training staff are seeing on why they're making these decisions, right? So we know that when the right 11 tactically, physically, and obviously health wise are ready, they're gonna be put out there. This Wolves game, and I know you'll probably get into it also with a little bit of
Tomorrow night.
preview
We're
and
going to
some
go
talk.
into it
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
So I'm gonna do my best. Hopefully, I would love to join in. I gotta think I can make that happen. But yeah, this Wolves game is huge because
But I
I
think tomorrow's a 90-minute to 2-hour show. So by all means,
oh,
starts at
okay,
9:30 UK time. So join whenever you can during it, mate.
fantastic. Thank you, thank you.
But I do want you on for this North and South debate because I listened to your show today and I know you got some thoughts on it as well.
I do. So we'll get into that. And unlike Rich, I won't drop any spoilers.
And this is
Thi-
bang on Stephen Dempsey. That's what it will be. It will be Bernardo out, Bellingham in.
yeah, and I hate to say this, but we also don't know what Gundogan's future is. Those are two midfielders.
Spot on.
That's next year. I'm not stressing about that now. But yeah, this game, I don't know if you talked about this earlier, but the fact that we didn't play Spurs, I think that actually hindered us in terms of like a rhythm standpoint. I know bodies got a chance to get healthy, yeah, but they were going to get healthy regardless. Like they would have not played and gotten healthy. I think the rhythm of playing and again rotation that Pep would have been doing, I think would have served us better than not playing this past weekend. But it happened. I know we move on. Um, and I look forward to jumping on to that stream tomorrow with you and not only talking about this All Star, but talking about the Wolves preview.
We're going to talk about Wolves. We've got a few things. I'm hoping Ozzy's going to be back tomorrow as well. We might have a full house tomorrow.
Okay.
So plenty of views, plenty of everything. We're going to wrap it up there because I know you need to shoot. I need to shoot because I'm going to go and record my daily news in 10. It will be back. I apologize about this morning. Like I said, my father's been in and out of hospital this week. So, yeah, it's been a stressful week. So I do apologize, but I did say the other day this was going to be up and down week for news in tens, but I am trying my best.
And Martin, from what I've seen, man, like, and you know this, there's tons of support, and everyone's wishing you the best, wishing you and your family, and in particular your father, the best. So stay strong, man.
No, I appreciate that, mate. And like I said, it's life. It's the way I view it now. I've had my little mental breakdown. I'll get over it and we'll come back next, But at the end of the day, I just want to thank everyone for sticking by you, Rich, Oz, everyone who comes on, from Patrick to Carl. I know we don't always see eye to eye, but that's the beauty of football. You can disagree, but all still remain friends at the end. And especially Sean as well. Sean, Alan, everyone Patrick. By the way, Patrick, still waiting on this invite on your early birds, mate. I'm trying to get on. He's not getting it. By the way, just a quick one. Couple of shout outs. Please go over and give the guy a subscribe and a like. He does wonderful stuff over on Beta Games TV. Absolutely wonderful. You'll catch him over on True City Fan. Give that a subscribe. Pitch Points, everything else. Please go and get. He was live today. Tremendous. Hoping to get back on at some point. I missed it today because I was with my father. And also Early Birds over on Spotify, SoundCloud, blah blah blah. Go and give the Sydney boys, Danny, Rich, Aaron, Rich goes on it, Patrick, and I can't think of the other chap's name. But they do some amazing work, so go over, give them a listen. They've got hours and hours on there, so go and give them a listen as well. Over on the Early Birds podcast, it's magnificent. And also, just go and subscribe to All Blues. I'm hoping to get Big Steve on here as well at some point, and he said he wants to come on, and we've got other things, irons in the fires. So bigger and better. Please share it around. hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. We're trying to get to 1,000 as quick as we can. Please, that'd be amazing. So share it around. Veta, what time is it and where are you? There you go. I can't stick the link in here, mate, but what I'll do is I'll stick his link, Stephen, in the description underneath this video. I'll add it in so then you can get over to Veta's channel and show him a lot of love as well. That's to everyone. But thank you to everyone. Veta, you've been amazing. Have a lovely afternoon, mate.
You too, man.
Oh, we're all in the land of nod. But Stephen, Alex, Sean, even Ryan, who didn't agree eye to eye, but we're all friends. Neil Anstott, Kurt, legend, that is Kurt coming on as well. Colonel Ward, Lucille Blue, everyone who's been on tonight. Chris Catley, even Alan, Ada, Anthony Ayler, Pardo Oaks. Thank you all so much. You are all superstars. We will see you tomorrow. I'll be back 7 a.m. for Daily News in 10 if I can get it sorted. And also, at 9:30 tomorrow, Thursday night, Mancunian Way, we're back for our big show. So we'll see you then. City, 6 out of 6. We might bitch, moan, and complain, but hey, it must be bad if we're moaning and we're winning. You wouldn't want to be a rag, would you? Take care. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you all.